Peru, just over 100 miles downriver from the Inca ruins of Machu Picchu, the Urubamba River runs through one of the deepest and most isolated canyons in South America. The Smithsonian Institute has identified the Urubamba River Valley as one of the most biodiverse rainforests in the world, concluding that, quote, few areas of the planet remain unexplored and intact, untouched by human activity like the Lower Urubamba. Until now. Despite strong public opposition, in September 2003, the Inter-American Development Bank, known as the IDB, approved $75 million in public tax monies to finance the controversial Camisea gas development project, considered by many observers as the most destructive fossil fuel project in the Amazon. The $2.6 billion Camisea project involves a consortium led by Texas-based Hunt Oil. Other important players are U.S. Halliburton, Argentina's Pluspetrol and Techint, and Belgium's Tractebel. Both Hunt Oil and Halliburton are known to have close ties to the Bush administration. 3 of the 4 gas platforms are being built inside the Cugapacori Nawa Reserve, threatening tribes who live with little or no contact with the outside world. The pipeline threatens the livelihood of over 10,000 indigenous inhabitants.
Visto que los Bajo Urubamba, tantos grupos Asháninga y tantos grupos de Guine y tantos grupos de Machillengas. Nosotros como nativos alimentamos en esas peces y animales los que viven en nuestro lado de nuestras comunidades, en nuestros bosques.
Creo que la vida del Machillenga es el bosque, la naturaleza, el agua, la pesca y todo lo que vive en la selva. Esa es su vida tradicional del Machillenga. Entonces, sin ese hábitat no puede existir o no puede vivir.
From the Camisea gas fields, 2 pipelines are being built to the coast to transport liquid petroleum and natural gas for U.S., Mexican, and Peruvian markets. This also involves a massive processing plant right on the Urubamba River. At the coast, the pipelines supply a fractionation plant proposed inside the buffer zone of the Paracas Marine Reserve, an area protected under the Ramsar Convention.
Camisea's environmental and social risks were deemed so high that the U.S. government's Export-Import Bank and Citigroup turned down the project's financing.
Camisea is just one of many destructive megaprojects in the IDB's financial portfolio. With $6.8 billion in loans to 26 countries in 2003, the Inter-American Development Bank is the largest source of multilateral financing for Latin America, wielding a profound influence over the region's environment and people. Following mounting criticism, the bank required a number of loan conditions aimed at protecting the environment and the communities to be met prior to financial closure and disbursement. The bank is moving towards closure without insisting on compliance.
Tenemos mucha evidencia y mucha documentación. No son cumplidas las condiciones. No para nada. Se escribió el 5 de septiembre. O sea, 5 días antes de que se aprobó el préstamo por la Junta Directiva del BID. No hay ninguna manera en que la Junta Directiva pudiera haber aprobado el préstamo si hubiera sabido esto, porque es un escándalo.
En la provincia de la Convención están organizándose. Va a haber paros. Ahorita todos los campamentos de las empresas está rodeado de militares cuidando, entonces está en estado de sitio, está en estado de emergencia.
The pipeline routes are providing easy access to pristine areas with no plans in place to prevent colonization. The government is facilitating illegal settlement in the region by granting titles to occupy indigenous lands.
El único que nos preocupa es las invasiones que pueden ocurrir tarde o temprano.
Por eso ahora queremos que nos que nos capaciten, que haya capacitaciones, cursillos, para conocer más allá y defendernos cómo son las cosas, ver cómo son las cosas, guiarnos.
Peru is a signatory to the ILO Convention 169, which guarantees indigenous peoples the right to decide their own process of development, as it affects their lives, beliefs, institutions, spiritual well-being, and the lands they occupy or otherwise use.
The IDB assured that their involvement would mitigate the project's serious impacts. This has not been the case.
The construction company for the pipeline has formed a river crossing here, and rather than build a bridge, they have built a small dam so they can drive behind the dam and through the water. Every time a truck or vehicle goes through this area, it generates significant silt, which then washes downstream. Standing on the clearing here, it's about 20 meters to 30 meters wide, and it's an angle down toward the river at 50 to 70 degrees, probably as steep as I've ever seen. It looks like they cleared about a foot, and the remaining 8 or 9 feet have been eroded after the excavation. All that soil must have washed into the river.
One of the most alarming consequences of Camisea is all of the new oil and gas projects that are planned in the Lower Urubamba. Ignoring these restrictions, the Peruvian government went ahead and signed contracts with U.S.-based Burlington Resources and Hunt Oil in nearby blocks 56 and 57.
This dam prevents any movement of fish back and forth, any movement of larval insects or other invertebrates that serve as fish food.
Ese shima es pescado, por eso antes existía bastante peces aquí. Y ahora poco a poco lo está disminuyendo el pescado y ahorita no podemos encontrar pescado.
Es cierto, cuando ellos van a hacer la pesca, ya no cogen ni un pescado al día. ¿De qué comen? Nada, señores. Nos preocupa, y me preocupa personalmente a mí, más que todo, menores de 5 años, los niños, que están sufriendo en estos momentos y de acá de un tiempo seguramente van a tener que caer con la desnutrición aguda o crónica, quién sabe.
The latest reports from health posts along the Urubamba River confirm a rise in illness amongst the Machugenga, such as respiratory and sexually transmitted diseases. This is most likely from exposure to Camisea's workforce. In the 1980s, when Shell discovered oil in Camisea, workers came in contact with the Nawa people. Within months after these photos were taken, more than half of the Nawa population perished. Today, there are once again reports of illnesses and deaths.
Cuando nuestros pueblos han sido contactados, han sido arrasados por la muerte, pues simplemente por la gripe.
Chap no atianda katongo ya shak timaga chanda monte town. No ateti kan no kimakota kan imansiga yak to wani matsinga timaga chanda ya shak kanta imanta gadori anta matsigen kapa tima anda shunga pasanda.
Knowing the risk of introducing fatal diseases, the Hunt Police Patrol Consortium has sent search parties into the remote forest to track down uncontacted peoples.
Lo que no podemos hacer es forzar el contacto y provocar la muerte. Ya han construido pozos, digamos, en esas áreas de los indígenas aislados. Ahora los pocos áreas que ocupan están siendo desplazados cada vez más. Y nuestra posición finalmente es de que los pozos futuros que están planteados por Camisea tiene que ser cancelado definitivamente. Esa es la posición del movimiento indígena.
Amazon Watch and indigenous organizations in Peru are urging that drilling stop inside the Nawa Cogapacori Reserve, given violation of international laws.
Es lo que nosotros tenemos, la timidez por nuestros hijos, la herencia que van a quedarse, porque los hijos también ellos van a tener y tanto los nietos sucesivamente, ya quizás nosotros ya no vamos a existir.
Camisea illustrates the need for IDB's social and environmental policies to be strengthened and enforced, and for public financial institutions to move towards truly sustainable development.
The Camisea project is a clear example that public and private international banks need to establish no-go zones for their financing, meaning that these banks should not finance projects that are in the most environmentally and socially sensitive places left on the planet.
Pedimos a las autoridades, a las instituciones, a las ONGs nacionales e internacionales que nos apoyen en este gran trabajo que tenemos que proteger el medio ambiente. No deben contaminarnos, no deben maltratarnos, no deben hacernos perder nuestra cultura y nuestra vivencia con la naturaleza.